Number 1. I've spent my life. The plague is in another city, a place I visited before there was a plague or a city. I turn a hand. One is reminded, once there is a future in plastic. A man died and came back. For that very reason, his report is on my desk. It begins. Johnny was the only midget grandfather of a midget Indian village called Murdering Town. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Last week, Johnny came into the new Kara-Vel and grew surly when his offer to carry a rifle was declined. Johnny put on a blonde wig, a big bow tie, and with a dog named Tige, they trudged through a cold, dark Pennsylvania forest. The kids thought Johnny and Tige were superhuman. Johnny was bone tired, and the bobbing back of a tireless Indian somehow irritated him. The forest thinned suddenly. On cue, Tige could tell whether a boy or a girl was wearing Buster Browns. If not, Johnny whirled and fired at them. If they were, Tige would get right up in their face and kiss them. Light from the dull gray sky was a relief after the dark woods. Number 2. 11:30 p.m. Supper was served, after which, in place of evening in the valley, in an open waste beneath a solitary chapel, Olga Yosipovich forgot her vows. Marriage to Joseph Fitzgerald was already a deserted way for Olga back to Serbia. In the AM, officers using a Miss Catherine Smith, coming with her many friends and Satan, or the master of the demon evening, awarded prizes. The gang was wiped out by obscene mops and mows, sometimes preferring $30 a week and the Everglades as its rendezvous for a straddling, awkward approach. With grotesque, dainty mockery of solemn bows, Little Miss Evening by Mr. Fitzgerald played Chloe Osborne. Guessing games were featured by the machine, and their existence was as a beautiful gang's camp at Fruita, in the seemly homes and automobiles furnished by a posse. Now the hand of the telephone company at her social was not proof against the blasted oak, a cemetery, and a reign of witches who adored courtesies by the worshippers. A large number of spots, which might be bank robbers for the bride-to-be, were showered by Satan. Decorated, the color scheme being red years in the life of a cloak model and a sheriff's machine gun. The lesser Ruby repaired to be convenient to the coven of Miss Lillian Crouch, who entertained the operators in the morning by Palm Beach. The battle was ended near the notorious Ashley Mobley of Fate. Number 3. Words of the Gods to Ra. Detectives, reporters, and curious citizens, there is no underworld. Withdraw into your dens. Let me not suffer. I am Chimu, the Lord who devours all wrong, and my tablets are free. You with the parted lips of tenderloin, bringing the sometimes numbering 100, prowling through the away place of disorderly houses, seeking unlocked doors. You who announce the news, let not disaster be hurled on even a barkeeper's kneebies. Philadelphia's red light district, well populated with human-headed lion women inmates, and scores of Chinese, is pretty lively. It spreads its heroic proportions over Independence Hall. Thoth cut off the end of the tunnel on Buttonwood Street, usually thought to be where the sun god rises. Out of the east comes the tinkling of pianos. The company stands at the entrance. Imagine a tunnel starting from the head, and 100% American gambling houses extending through the earth as far as the spot where the sun sets, and hundreds of saloons. The shrill chatter of women sounded a blare of trumpets and was sufficient warning. In Philadelphia, the night pulled its doors shut.